is that as a competitor, it's never enough. You know, you always want a little more, a little more, a little more. And I think the little more that I want right now is the victory tonight.
That little boy, though, that 10-year-old boy who was walking around in Africa and whose hero was Mike Tyson, what do you think he would say if you could transport him up here and he could be in this room right now, that 10-year-old boy?
You would definitely be impressed of how his faith, his hope, his dedication, his faithfulness of his dream have led him here. Because it wasn't an easy process. He has never been an easy process from that 10 years old to now. We get a lot of hurdles on our way, but you know, the never back down and keep going. Didn't have any guarantee of the success. Didn't know that it's gonna let us here, but was just curious to see how far we can go, and here we are.
I mean, here you are. And is it, as you go into the ring tonight, is there a feeling of like almost like destiny? Like you look across back what you've done in your life, and you're like, this story continues with me winning this fight, or do you really not know what's going to happen out there?
I think the story continues with me winning this fight. It's not done yet. I mean, I can't come just this far to just stop here.
Speaking of the walkout, we're going to be seeing it here in a little bit. The fans around the world are going to be watching you walk out to the ring. Can you give us an idea of what is going to be going through your head as you walk out to the cage? Are you going to be enjoying it, or are you already going to be sort of laser focused on the task ahead?
That's really something that I've been thinking about. I'm like, okay, my family is here for the first time. Maybe I will be looking at them. Maybe I'll be enjoying the moment, enjoying the show, because I saw the venue yesterday and it was impressive. It was like mind-blowing. Like, I don't know what's the right word to express that, but I mean, I would like to enjoy it, but as I know, my state of mind right now is to win the fight. And then maybe I'll find a time after to enjoy it. You know, I'll have enough time to celebrate and to party.
Well, you won't be the only one partying. Well, how big for the country of Africa is the fact that you were just here, but also you win this fight? How big would it be for the continent of Africa?
Well, it's big for us. It's big for me. It's big for my people, because it's a dream come true. Like, for example, look around you. Look. We have legend right there in Samuel Eto'o. We all know. I mean, it can't get any bigger than this. It can't get any bigger than this. We're just trying to push it as far as we go. You know, trying to carry on the legacy that they led for us, the inspiration that they give us. We're trying to carry it and then leave it to others behind us. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just about to enjoy the process and do the best that you can.
The last thing I want you to do, Francis, because I know you and I've talked to you for years, I know that you do take some pleasure in proving people wrong. I want you to look at that camera right now. There are people out there watching, thinking you have no chance to win this fight. What would you like to tell those people who say Francis Ngannou has no chance tonight?
I would tell them the same thing that I always say: tune up and watch, and don't break your TV after.
Don't break your TV after. Joe, Tim, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Brett. Brett Okamoto in the locker room with Francis Ngannou. Of course, Brett, a longtime MMA reporter for ESPN, has covered Francis throughout his entire career, and thrilled to have him join us on this broadcast team of the Battle of the Baddest. As you see this dynamic Kingdom Arena, the first time that is in use, and if you're sitting back asking, well, where is the boxing ring? Well, the boxing ring is going to emerge from below the floor. Right now, there is a stage in the center of Kingdom Arena, because we are going to have a full Olympic-style opening ceremony with performers like Lil Baby and Becky G. That is going to happen before our heavyweight historic feature attraction of Fury and Ngannou. Tim, I want to get back to the conversation that Francis Ngannou just had, as he referenced many things, from going back to his background and the appreciation of having his family here, his mother. The Saudis were able to bring his mother and his brother here to Riyadh to have this moment. But the reference to Mike Tyson,
Yes.
that Mike Tyson was his boyhood idol, that watching Mike Tyson on tape meant something to him, and now all these years later, having Mike by his side in the lead up to this fight, how much it means to him.
You know, honestly, just builds his confidence. His childhood idol is actually his trainer. You know, it makes him feel like he's special, like he's worthy of something. Francis, to me, Tess, has already somewhat won this battle. And I say that, no, he hasn't won the fight, but I could just say he's a winner in life. And he just needs to show up tonight, win, lose, or draw, Tess, and just try. And just try to win. And trust me, with his story and everything that he's been through, millions of people around the world will be inspired.
He has said that Mike Tyson is our...
And I never watched his fight. I was like maybe 22 years old when I started to go to internet shops, to a cafe, and I started to watch his fight. Idolizing somebody like this and get to the point that it's going to be in your corner. Since the first time that I met him, which was 4 years ago, I make a request for him to be in my corner whenever I have to fight Tyson Fury.
How did training with Mike Tyson prepare you to beat Tyson Fury?
He prepared me, he helped me a lot. I don't have Mike Tyson's style. I don't have his qualities. He's just the top of the top in terms of techniques. I just try to pick what I can pick in the lap of time that I had in front of me.
So that is Francis Ngannou. It is one of the big storylines of this heavyweight attraction, his relationship with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson working in the camp with Francis Ngannou. Now, Francis Ngannou is 6'4" with an 83-inch reach. Mike Tyson obviously is on the other end of the spectrum in terms of body type as a heavyweight, as well as stylistically. When you go back and you watch what Francis Ngannou is as a striker, he's a squared-up, wide-open guy with punches coming from anywhere, where Mike Tyson was a peekaboo, bob and weave, compact, the most compact, explosive fighter, arguably in the heavyweight division history.
Yes, Tess, but I mean, that was Tyson. I mean, this is Francis Ngannou, so he brings a different style to the table, but...
How does it translate, is my point, when one guy is on the other end of the spectrum with his physical traits?
The mentality, Tess, that's how it translates. From one big puncher to the other. Tyson, he went to Tyson basically looking for, you know, clarity on how to deliver his punching power inside the ring. That's the reason why he went with Tyson. And, you know, Tess, back in the days, I had my old trainer, Russell Rodriguez, used to tell me, I said, you're retired. Why are you still, you know, hanging around the gym? He said, Tim, because it's important for me to not sit back and die with all the knowledge that I know from boxing. It's great to see Mike Tyson being a part of boxing, giving back to boxing. Whether it's with Francis Ngannou or anybody else, it's great to see him because when he's a part of boxing, trust me, custom model right now is turning over in his grave.
Let's remind you where we are in our evening as we work our way to the main event. The Battle of the Baddest here live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on a beautiful evening. We have the much anticipated battle of British heavyweights, the undefeated Fabio Wardley against David Adelaide coming up in just moments. Then it will be Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. As for what is happening in the locker room and the scene backstage, here's Bernardo.
The locker room of Tyson Fury has been locked. It's closed to the media for now. What I can tell you is I just saw referee Mike Griffin step into the locker room, and he's going to go give the final instructions. And he told me, first I'm going to go into Tyson Fury's locker room. Immediately after that, I'm going to go across the hallway and give Francis Ngannou his first ever boxing instructions. So that's what's going on in the back. Tyson Fury's locker room, as per usual, an hour after arrival, is closed for interviews. Luckily, we were able to speak with the champion earlier on. He understands what's at stake, not only winning this fight, but what it means for him in the month of December and the ability to fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship. And we saw how calm Francis Ngannou was on the other side, so a lot of calm, just waiting for the storm. Once those two giants, the battle of the baddest, start inside this arena, the calm will be over because the punches will be flying, and they both understand that this is a night that can change their lives.
Bernardo makes a very interesting comment in speaking to referee Mike Griffin, that when he goes to Francis Ngannou to give his pre-fight instructions, those are the first pre-fight instructions for a boxing bout that he's ever received, which is an interesting mark to note in that we don't know what we're getting and how non-conforming Francis will be to the structure of boxing. Even Tyson Fury. DraftKings, and when you see that, you will see that Wardley is a minus 310 favorite to defeat. But you talk to both fighters, and you'll also see the over-under of 7.5 rounds, and they will tell you they know that each man is going to be bringing his best. This has already turned into a heated rivalry. A brawl took place among the camps back in the announcement of this fight back in London when Fury and Ngannou were center stage, and in fact, Wardley even suffered a minor cut with that incident.
It's going to be interesting to see how both these fighters manage their mental state inside the ring, if they can keep it all together. But I can just tell you this, that, you know, Wardley is the favorite because he's been battle tested. You know, he's fought the tougher competition. He has been through some things inside the ring, and people have seen him bounce back from adversity and knocking out his opponents. And on the flip side of that, you know, Adelaide, young, hungry, determined, has a ton of skill. But he has not been tested just yet. Tonight, he's going to get tested, and we're going to separate the boys from the men in this heavyweight clash.
Wardley was quick to point that out, the resume of David Adelaide, saying that he's not really there yet, and he can't run away from it now, stating that Adelaide has put himself in a corner, and that this is the moment that Fabio feels he will expose him. This is a significant heavyweight fight for each of these men at this point in his career. And let me take it a step further, because it speaks to why we're here in Saudi Arabia and why this event and what you're seeing with the emergence of sports here in the Middle East could impact the sport in a huge way. This fight got made immediately, without hesitation.
But see, the reason why is about the finances. That's what it's all about. And a lot of fights don't get made in the U.S. because you have two different promoters, you have the networks, and they're He'll probably spar Tyson Fury and knows what he brings to the table. I can say that Adelaide, the same thing. We know that he sparred Tyson Fury as well. But there's Deontay Wilder that needs sparring. I mean, there's Anthony Joshua that needs sparring. All these young guys, they get an opportunity to work with these talents to actually test where they are physically and also mentally when they go into these camps and help these fighters, these world champions, get ready for their fights.
Remember, this is our final fight, our co-feature that takes place outside, and then all the fans come in to this dynamic arena, including a list of celebrities beyond anything you have ever heard or seen. We're going to have some superstar singers with our opening ceremony. We have Eminem sitting ringside. Ronaldo, the global soccer icon, is going to be sitting ringside. And luminaries from both boxing and MMA. And speaking of that, Conor McGregor with Brett.
Thank you guys. Here with the one and only notorious Conor McGregor. And Conor, it is so nice to see you at this event, man. How is it to be in Saudi Arabia and be seeing this crossover event, something that you kind of started with Floyd Mayweather a few years ago?
Great to be here. The hospitality from the Saudi Arabian people has been amazing. I'm honoured to be here, to be around all the boxing legends. And, mixed martial arts ventures into boxing again. We're here hoping boxing ventures into MMA one time, So I'm excited to see it. I wish Francis well, wish the lads well, and it's going to be a good night. It's a tough ask. Let's be real. Tyson's crafty. He's bigger, he's taller, and Francis has his weapons in his pocket where he cannot use them, so it's going to be a tough ask.
And I remember one of my favorite interviews I've ever done on SportsCenter. It was in your locker room after you fought Floyd. You had a whiskey and you were kind of walking around. You were talking about everything that you wanted to do differently. You're like, let me go right back out there and I'll beat him now. What could you tell Francis? What is your advice to Francis as he goes into this fight?
Forget the 12 rounds. Go for it from the bell. Put it on him early. My approach, in the opening 2 seconds of the bout against Mayweather, I landed down the pipe, had him against the ropes and got a left hand down the pipe. This is in a boxing ring. Francis is powerful. He's more powerful early, but everything is your early shots, and hopefully turn the tide.
Last thing for you: if Francis pulls this off, where would you put it in combat sports history in terms of greatest achievements upon?
Humongous. I'm so happy and so proud of Francis for what he's had to do. Stood his ground, making what he's making. God bless him. And it would be huge if he could do it, for sure.
Fantastic seeing you, man. Enjoy.
Conor McGregor among the hundreds of sports stars and celebrities who have made their way here to Riyadh, where it is Riyadh season, and that is what you are looking at, the boulevard. Listen, the best way I can describe this is imagine Epcot Center times about 10. Entertainment, global events, exhibitions, museums, anything you want. And then you see just at the bottom of your screen, that outdoor arena. That's the small arena where we're having just the undercard with thousands of fans outside before we come into this location, the brand new modern Kingdom Arena, and that is where we will have our opening ceremony spectacular pre-fight. Then Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. The past 48 hours, we've seen all the celebrities roll in, yes, and you can feel the hype building for this.
Yeah, the celebrities, when they come out, they let you know that this is a serious event. Tyson Fury, he has that type of nature that, again, brings people together and people want to witness what he does. I would also go a little further. Francis Ngannou, his story, I think is inspiring so many people around the world, including myself. It's unbelievable to see him with not even having in his debut, fighting Tyson Fury because of who he is and what he brings to the table. For the folks out there that believe that he has a chance, I'm going to let you folks know, he does have a chance. Trust me on this. He does. All he has to do is land one punch at the right spot, and Tyson Fury will go down and could be knocked out. So, moving forward in this event, I would also say that this is a statement that the Saudis are making. A statement to the world, the entire world. They're saying we are going to be the capital of sports entertainment. Check this out. See what we can do. This place right here was built in 60 days, Tess. This is unbelievable. 60 days. So, there's a lot going on. There's a lot you can take from this event. But all the celebrities that are out for one particular reason, and that's for Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou.
You see the arena that we are sitting in here, the Kingdom Arena. You do not see a boxing ring, and that is with purpose, because that staging will be home to our opening ceremonies with Lil Baby and Becky G and numerous performers. That'll go on for 20 minutes before we get to Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. That outside is the site of our next fight, and it is a good one. Fabio Wardley and David Adley, two undefeated heavyweights willing to go head-to-head. They brawled at the press conference. A lot of emotion running high when we return to the Battle of the Baddest.
I've gone a distance more than a few times to win my title, but you can get an instant victory with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly, no matter how the fight goes down. Whether it's an early KO or a battle to the final bell, you're bringing home a win. Download the app, enter the promo code, and bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. The crown is yours.
Yeah, he's really good at distracting people, because when you look at him, he really doesn't look like the guy. But I have seen him. I have been ringside watching him, and I'm like, man, there is not. How can this be possible? But you're watching him, not the best looking, not the most athletic guy, but the way that he moves is good, so impressive. You might let his body fool you, or what he's saying, or you're being out of shape. I don't buy into that.
Wow, that was sharp. The biggest reason why Ngannou can't never beat me, he's got too good of a body. The abs, hips, biceps, all that's too much. I knew from the first moment I touched him, he couldn't beat me. Fat men can never be underestimated. Fat men can fight all night and rip men can't. And the fat man will always win. That's the fact.
Well, those big bodies will be clashing here at the Kingdom Arena. Once that staging goes away after our opening ceremonies, and all of a sudden the boxing ring is going to rise up from the floor, and we will have the two big men in it, Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou. Listen, we've broadcast Tyson Fury fights where I've referred to him as a bag of milk. And you look at his body type. At one point, the guy was over 400 pounds in the depth of his depression. He worked his way all the way down to just under 260 pounds before the Deontay Wilder fight. But he's most comfortable where he is here at the high 270s, close to 280s. He looks great, he's well conditioned, and he feels it. When you look at him, you don't say to yourself, wow, this is a world-class elite athlete, but he very much is. And Francis Ngannou is not fooled by that fact. Francis Ngannou will say, he's saying, grab my belly, Francis, touch my back. And it, yep.
He's the champion of the world. Trust me, people. What it boils down to is the passion that you have, the will that you have, the heart that you have. That's what it boils down to. And it's obvious both of these fighters have everything.
Well, right now you see in the big screens inside Kingdom Arena what is happening just behind us on the other side of this giant superstructure. And that is David Adelaide getting ready to go up against Fabio Wardley. And that is a highly compelling co-feature. Undefeated heavyweights willing to get after it. Wardley's 28 years old. He's 16-0. Adelaide 12-0 at 26 years old. And so much on the line in our co-feature. You know, just to wrap up that conversation about the body type of Francis Ngannou, because we focus so much on Fury, and you mentioned Ngannou.
Well, you know what? I have to disagree with that because I had some big muscles myself. And I'm a Hall of Famer at the end of the day. But I can tell you this, big muscles do slow you down. It takes a lot more oxygen to run those big muscles and punch for 3 minutes at a time with 1 minute rest, especially for a fighter that's never gone 10 rounds before in his career.
Well, let's set the stage for what you're about to see here. Just on the other side of the superstructure arena that we are in, Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide. And Wardley, again, just to go through the big storylines, he says he is here to expose Adelaide. That he says, I'm getting paid because his promoter realizes that he's not what he thought he was. This is Wardley, who was on the wrong side of the brawl at the press conference back on September 7th in London. In fact, Fabio was knocked down, and Tim even suffered a minor cut near his left eye by a punch from somebody in Adelaide's group.
Unbelievable. That could have been me at the end of the day. And I'm coming into the ring with a chip on my shoulder, but again, I'm under control. I'm using it as fuel, but I'm taking my time, and I'm going to destroy Adelaide for what he did.
You get a sense of the size and scope of what we are dealing with here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. As you see the scenes live of Fabio Wardley with that overhead shot, just to show you and to consider that that is the undercard stadium outside, the undercard arena. If it was any other boxing promotion, this would be considered one of the most dynamite settings you've ever seen. But when you see this in front of us, the entertainment center that they have built strictly to be used for the historic heavyweight event between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, it pales in comparison.
There's no comparison to it, Tess. This is the first time this has been done in the sport of boxing. This is the biggest promotion, the biggest event that I've ever seen. And I'm glad that boxing is a part of it.
We are ready for our co-feature. Here it is.
And now let's welcome to the ring from England, the undefeated Fabio Wardley. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our chief support. It is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the British, WBO European, WBA Continental, and vacant Commonwealth Heavyweight Championships. We would first like to extend a big thank you to His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Al-Sheikh. This bout is being brought to you by Stella, Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, Bob Arams, Top Rank Incorporated, and Gimmick. It is